So with that level of awareness, when you were originally writing the show and the characters, were you going through like, okay, so here's things that the straight community might be against, should we kind of look into that? Here's what the gay community might be weird about, should we try and tailor it? Or we just like, here is the characters, here's a narrative arc. People can either deal with it or not like it, here we go. Like,
more the second one.
Yeah, or the second one.
And sometimes as we're writing the story, I will find something in the scene like, oh, this would be a good moment to
make a point about.
Yeah, this is an interesting parallel or analogy for this, and we have some room for some commentary here. Or I'll be reading, comments on some news story on a gay blog or on a conservative blog, and I'll see sort of this idea that people have, and I'll think, well, that's a completely bullshit idea. Like, why? This is a fallacy. Why are people acting as if this is true? And find a way for that to work in the story that we're telling, or tell the story that, if I have a passionate reaction to that, then we start there. Like, what intimate, domestic, marriage equality sort of story angle would work to communicate that idea.
Do you think it's interesting that media hasn't fractured, but you're able to do things now, via things like YouTube and obviously Netflix? There was Hemlock Grove, you can commission series now without sort of the big network. Do you think it's quite liberating for sort of creative people? If something gets turned down, you can go, actually, well, sod you, then I can go and take it to
Absolutely. We skipped the stage of getting turned down. Or just like, we want to do this, we want to do it our way, we want to do it right now. Oh, well, there's access to content making in a way that's never been possible before. You could even do it for a whole lot less money. This is a thing that people with a webcam can just go out there and say what they want to do, and if their content is really good, it's got a shot at being found. And you don't have to demonstrate that there is an audience for it. You can do it as a way to demonstrate that there is an audience for it, which was important to us.
I think that was more important to us than, we get asked a lot of questions about profit and what's the new model.
Of course, yeah.
And those are all things that are being figured out and will continue to be figured out. But for us, that was not why we got into it. We got into it to prove that there was an audience, and not to prove that there was an audience so we could sell the show.
Okay.
We wanted to prove that there was an audience for the sake of moving culture forward and society forward, and showing the powers that be and the gatekeepers that there was an audience for this. And even if we weren't getting the money for it, or if it wasn't our face on the flag, we wanted to set that trend and be a part of that wave of change.
Is season 3 is on the CW Digital?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that changing anything in your process, or does it give you more funding? Or
gives us more funding.
More funding. Yeah. But you still have full creative control.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was really gratifying that they didn't want to change anything and didn't particularly want to be part of the making of process. They very much were like, give us the show you've been making.
Yeah, so it's going to be distributed on that, or YouTube, or...
Yeah, they have a was it CW Seed?
CW Seed is the subdivision of CW Digital, if I understand.
Well, it's being rebranded as CW Seed,
okay.
And that is where they will have original programming, and they have a lot of interactivity. It's a whole new thing they're launching this summer with the shows that they have on broadcast, as well as original. Yeah, so I think they have 7 original digital shows.
And yeah, it won't. Seasons 1 and 2 will still be on YouTube. But the new ones will be on CW Digital.
Yeah. Is that paid content, or is it free?
No,
still?
It's free.
Completely free. All right.
Where do you develop your storylines? I know you see, like you said, Brad, you said you see something in the news and it inspires you. But me as a writer, when I drive a story, sometimes I let the character push me. I think, well, my character will behave this way to a certain reaction. How do you approach it?
A couple different things. One of the things that we do is we go back and we look at classic TV and we go, what are classic stories that have been told about newlyweds?
Yep.
How are they changed by the same-sex situation? That's one.
And how are they the same?
Yeah. We also think about, like, what are just basic topics that Sheeks and Brady would have different takes on.
Or relationships themselves. I know that I'm regularly thinking with my boyfriend. Like the other day, I was about to kill a spider, and my boyfriend was like, "You're gonna kill it? I would set it free." And I'm like, "Really? You're gonna set it free? Like, are you that guy? You're gonna take the spider and put it outside?" And he was like, "That's what I would do." Here I am with a shoe. fine, set it free. Now if I kill it, I'm going to be the bad boyfriend. So things like that, that could be a whole conversation.
Absolutely.
And then Brady's like the sweet and kind one, and what does that say about Cheeks, that he was going to kill the spider, and do I really know him? And
Absolutely. Yeah, we draw from media, we draw from life, we draw from just thinking about characters in conflict. Yeah. I think there's even conversations we've had, you and me, where we go like, oh, this would be a Cheeks and Brady conversation.
Totally,
yeah.
Because we have such different approaches to things,
Yeah.
like Jane is very, oh, you want to be the first to get on the plane so that you can, like, get your bags on or whatever. I'm like, yeah, and then you have to sit on the plane forever until you take off. Like, you want to be the last one on the plane. Yeah.
How did you two come together to develop this show, though? I mean, what inspired you to?
I found Brad used to do these hilarious short form humor videos for YouTube that I came across and was just so impressed with the writing, the maturity of the writing, the quality of the joke, the discipline of the editing. Reached out to him. It's just like, these are great. Let's get lunch. And we became friends, and after a couple years of that, we started looking around for something to do. And sort of he knew that online content was sort of going to merge with television in a way that was even quicker and more decisive than I had realized, and brought me this idea, and it just made absolutely perfect sense to do it. And it has been a remarkably simpatico writing relationship. Like we write very similarly. Have similar instincts. We rarely go like, no, my version of the joke is better. Sometimes,
right?
Not too often.
Very rarely, because we are not invested in what's funnier because we wrote it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And because we were friends for a couple of years, I think the reason we wanted to work on something together was because we noticed how consistently aligned our creative choices were. We'd watch something and say, I like this, I didn't like that, and it was always the same thing.
How would you set up the show to someone in Britain who's never seen it before, that's about to go on YouTube and watch it? How would you set up the scenario for the show?
Well, two opposites that have been dating for a few weeks go out to celebrate marriage equality in Vegas. They get drunk, they wake up married.
Right.
And the gays are mad, the conservatives are mad, and in order to not betray the cause and make marriage equality look bad, they decide to stick it out, and they may just love each other.
They may just love each other a little bit, and so it's will that love be strong enough to take a couple through that don't know each other very well? It's very funny. We are never sacrificing humor for message.
Right.
We use humor for the message,
and
so
vice versa. We're never sacrificing message for humor.
Right. It's true.
And yeah, if you like classic sitcoms, if you like classic television, it's modeled after that. It's Bewitched and I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke with two guys in the 21st century.
Yeah.
I mean,
can we make this the last question?
Sure. You've had a selection of celebrity guests.
Yeah.
Is there any hints on who might pop up for season 3, or is it top secret?
It is top secret,
it is
but
top
you've
secret.
given a
I
hint
did give a
somewhere
hint.
else, so you could probably give that hint again.
Oh yeah, we do have a guest star who's just a doll.
That's the hint.
Is it going to beat Felicia Days? Because that was a brilliant.
We had Felicia Day already, so we're hinting
There will
somebody.
be no
new.
repeat. Yeah, there was somebody asked a good question. Is anyone coming back? No.
No.
No, not even Joss.
No. We may reference
In this, we may reference him, and he might be back in the future.
Yeah.
But this time around, we're telling a different story, and
New guests
and we do have a guest star who is just a doll.